The prompt for today is to create a mini collage using vertical strips only. You'll play with different ways to add contrast to your design with the limitation of keeping with vertical strips of paper. Here I have my sampler pages from the Teal Tango, the Frog, and the Jeweled Leaves collection. In this video, I'm going to create a collage using the Teal Tango sampler page. So what I have here is I've already cut out my strips using my paper trimmer, and I laid them out just like they are here on this sheet. I have all of my supplies ready, which includes my substrate, which I'll be using a chipboard. I have my Mod Podge and a brush. I have my wet and dry cloth. This is to keep my hands clean and dry. I have a couple pairs of scissors, and then I'm using a silicone craft mat for my surface so that it can be easily cleaned. The first thing that I want to do is choose any piece of paper. It doesn't matter where I start. I'm going to go ahead and choose this one here, and I'm going to cut it. For this first piece, I'm just cutting a straight line, and I'll show you why. Right here, I have an extra piece of chipboard, and this is what I find to be the easiest way to add the Mod Podge to the paper. So I'm going to get Mod Podge on my brush, and I'm just going to pull the paper across the brush. And then I'm going to lie this down. I put enough Mod Podge on this so that it slips around a little bit. Otherwise, if there's not enough on there, it's just going to stay where it lands. So I did a straight line here. That's because my next piece is going to overlap a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and choose something, and I'm thinking about contrast here. So ways to think about contrast would be the different lightnesses and darknesses of paper. So this is a light pink here, and here I have a darker pink. So that's a nice contrast there. I can also do contrast when I look at, this is a colored piece, and these are the neutral, the blacks and whites. So if I add a color and then go with a neutral, that's going to add contrast. Another way to look for contrast within the colors is to look at the color wheel. So here's the color wheel for the Teal Tango collection. And any colors that are far from each other on the color wheel are going to be the most contrast. So this red, purple, and the yellow, orange have a lot of contrast. And then also the color across the way on the color wheel, the blue, green, which is teal, this is going to add contrast to any of these other colors. So for example, actually, let me pull this back. So if I'm going to look at this, which is over here on the color wheel, and then this has more contrast than if I use these, which are close to the color, which are close to each other on the color wheel. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and then choose my next piece of paper. And I think I will go with this dark pink. So I'm starting off with a straight line of the edge. I think for this one, I'm going to go ahead and tear it. So I'm holding this side down, pulling this other side. And as we learned in the intro videos, the side that's being held down is the side that's going to end up with this white along the edge. Now this one ended up with quite a bit of white, and I'm going to see how I like it with that much. And I actually do like that. I could trim off some of that, but I think I like it just like that. And I'm going to go ahead and add my Mod Podge. And I'm going to just slide it to where I want it. And moving on to the next piece, maybe I want to choose a neutral color. And do I want a light or a dark? I'm going to go ahead with this lighter one. And another way to add contrast within the design is to change the width of the paper. So if the width is the same across the design, it's not going to be as interesting as if we change up the width. And I'm just laying that down and moving on. So here, maybe I'll alternate with another torn piece. So here I'm getting a lot of nice interest because this is kind of jagged, goes in and out. And then I'm going to go ahead and choose my next piece. So again, looking at the color wheel, just deciding, do I want to do one of these colors in here? This red orange. I could go there or there. So just deciding as I move along. I'm going to go ahead and cut this one straight. Add the Mod Podge. Here now I'm going to use these decorative scissors. I think I'm going to do a wider strip. So I'm going to go and cut this. See what that looks like. So moving along continuously, deciding how and where to add contrast to create interest. In this one, I'm going to choose this black piece and deciding if I want to rip it or cut it. I could even cut it with these straight scissors, but do like a curved in and out. So two wavy lines, but they're different because I use the two different types of scissors. And I'm wanting to keep this one a little bit wider, adding that contrast. And I'm going to go ahead and tear this one. Maybe purposely going in and out. Instead of trying to get it straight, here I'm trying to get it wavy. Well, that's pretty cool. And then I just need one more piece for the end. So do I want to bring in some more blues? Maybe I'll try this one here. Using these stripes. And one of the things I want to keep in mind is what I'm going to use this for in the end. Am I going to use it for a greeting card? Am I going to frame it? If you're going to frame it, you do want to get an idea of the parts that are going to be covered. I have a feeling that this edge is going to be covered in the frame. And I'm going to go ahead and just place that there anyhow. So now once my strips are all laid down, I'm going to go ahead, turn it over, take my straight scissors and cut across. These I can save the scraps for another collage. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this as well. Now, isn't that beautiful? So we can see all the contrast just using vertical stripes. We've got some thinner and thicker. If I want to go and add something else in here, so for example, keeping with that vertical strip, maybe I want to do a really thin black line. See how thin I can get it with these scissors? So I have the black there, and maybe I want to add a little bit. So you can always go back and add to the collage. And the prompt today was to keep with vertical strips, but if you want to go ahead and start adding other directions and playing with that, you could certainly do that. Try whatever you'd like, but look at how nice that looks. So we have a nice thin black stripe, and these kind of bounce off of each other. I'm going to go ahead and cut this. And cut this. And the last thing that I want to do is I want to coat this entire surface with the Mod Podge. So I'm going to pick it up and do it, I think. We'll see what's easiest. The reason I'm doing this is it seals the paper. So if I'm going to be adding some acrylic paints or acrylic markers to this, it's not going to seep into the paper. It'll be on the surface of the Mod Podge. So just getting a nice coat there. And then I'm going to let this dry. And then I'll come back once it's dry, and then we'll see what it looks like framed. Okay. So I'm going to just wash off my hands so I'm not making a mess. So there's my wet cloth, my dry cloth. And then before I leave my workstation, I want to make sure that my Mod Podge is covered. I'm going to keep that brush in there because I'm going to be using it again today. But this top will keep this so that the brush doesn't get dried out. All right, so I'll be back and then we'll put this in a frame. And here it is. It's completely dry. And I have a white frame here. So this is something I got from Amazon. And I'm going to go ahead and put this in here. And as I mentioned, so part of this design is going to be cut off because it's going to fall right along this edge. But for this, you know, just a little bit of that, I can still see that teal strip at the end. And then I'm going to go ahead and put this, the backing on. But before I do that, I can take a look and see if I actually want it to be hanging like this or like this. And for me, I think I like it like this. So I'm going to flip it over and put the backing in. And look how beautiful that is. Now I'm going to give you one other idea for these mini collages that you create. And I pop this back out. So I love, love, love it. Framed. But another wonderful idea, this is cardstock for a greeting card, and I could glue this down. So even though this is chipboard and it's a little thick, this will work gluing it down to some cardstock. And I could do it just like that, which is gorgeous. I could do it like that. And then if I want, I could type out an inspirational word and then glue it down like that. So you can see how many different ideas you can come up with to use these mini collages. And what I'd recommend now is to go ahead and continue to create some more. You can create an entire series of collages, so maybe a set of 4 within the same design. And then I would recommend also choosing the other cards. So here's one with the jeweled leaves. Another one with the jeweled leaves. Those are the teal tango, and then here are from the frog collage. So enjoy, happy creating, and I can't wait to see what you come up with. Thank you so much for joining me.